Alors avec Tim, c'est soit on va trop lentement, soit on va trop vite. Parce que je pense que là, on a pris le bon tempo. We move on now to yet another important item on our agenda, item 10. It's the update on the reflection on the broader implementation of Article 18 of the Convention. I would like to ask Mr. Secretary to present this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I might recall, first of all, that this item is brought to you as an outcome of the global reflection on the listing mechanisms of the Convention. And indeed, as part of the discussions that happened on this reflection, the 16th session of the committee decided to initiate a new reflection for a broader implementation of Article 18 of the Convention. And this new initiative is made possible thanks to the generous contribution made by the Kingdom of Sweden. Mr. Chairperson, according to Article 18 of the Convention, the committee shall periodically select and promote national, sub-regional, and regional programs, projects, and activities for the safeguarding of the heritage which it considers best reflect the principles and objectives of this convention. In order to implement this provision, a mechanism of the Register of Good Safeguarding Practices was established soon after the convention entered into force, and it was established in 2009. It has, however, been pointed out time and time again by the committee that the register has been significantly underutilized compared to the two lists of the convention. This was brought up again during the global reflection, which led to the discussion today. So today the committee is asked to formally establish the main initial reflection topics on the broader implementation of Article 18 of the Convention. The first topic concerns improving the access to and increasing the visibility of the Register of Good Safeguarding Practices. The aim is to improve the utilization of the register itself in line and following that global reflection I just mentioned. During that reflection, criterion P9 was discussed, and it was decided to delete that criterion from the criterion for selection on the Register of Good Safeguarding Practices. But the open-ended working group felt that more discussion is needed for other criterion. The possibility to further reducing or refining criteria may therefore be discussed under this new reflection. And another need identified was to reflect on how to further raise visibility of those practices on the register. The second topic is about the possibility of creating an observatory for sharing good safeguarding practices. And the proposal is to think about creating an online observatory of intangible cultural heritage safeguarding, which could be further explored as a way to encourage dialogue and communications among various stakeholders of the conventions for the purposes of sharing good safeguarding practices. This, of course, could include, as we've just heard, the ICH NGO Forum, the communities whose elements are inscribed on the lists, and various other actors in safeguarding. This consideration follows the request of the Committee Decision 16-14 and echoes paragraph 3 of Article 18 of the Convention, which states that, and I quote, "The Committee shall accompany the implementation of such programs, projects, programs, and activities by disseminating best practices using means to be determined by it." And then, committee members, dear committee members, there is a third topic which has been intentionally kept open so as to give a chance for committee members and those who will take part in the reflection to identify other issues relating to Article 18 that may not have yet been discussed. I'll just quickly talk about the ways forward. As indicated in the working document, it is proposed that the Article 18's reflections process follows a similar multi-step approach to the reflection process on the global reflection on the listing mechanisms. Meaning, if this committee agrees with the suggested timeline, a Category 6 meeting of experts will be convened in the first half of 2023. This will lay the ground for the meeting of an open-ended intergovernmental working group in the second half of 2023. This, of course, would be followed by additional intergovernmental discussions during your next 18th session of the committee, which we discovered this morning will be happening in Botswana in November or late November, early December 2023. Based on those discussions at the next session of the committee will determine whether the process could possibly be completed by the 10th session of the General Assembly in mid-2024. Should the 18th session of the committee so decide, this session of the Assembly would then examine the draft amendments to operational directives. So to sum up, what we are proposing is to have an expert meeting in the beginning of next year, an intergovernmental, open-ended intergovernmental consultation in second half of next year, but in time before the committee, so that potential revisions to the operational directives, if needed, could be presented to the next session of the committee for forwarding to the General Assembly, the next session of the General Assembly, the 10th session in June or July 2024. Dear members of the committee, while the potential of the register still needs to be fully explored, the implementation of Article 18 does indeed go beyond just that mechanism. And it's quite exciting to be starting this new reflection, which we hope and feel surely that it will further develop the outreach, usefulness, and impact of this convention. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Tim. Now I'm opening the floor. So does anybody wish to take the floor? I have Sweden, and Sweden, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I will be very brief. We are grateful to Tim and the Secretariat for this presentation and the preparation of this item. Sweden would like to underline the importance of the reflection process of the Article 18. This is an essential part of the Convention, though the register has been underutilized, as was said. It has an important role to play for state parties, as well as for NGOs, communities, and practitioners in order to share experiences, raise visibility, and learn from different safeguarding practices. Therefore, Sweden is happy to be able to support the reflection process, and we look forward to the further discussions with expert state parties, etc. Sweden would be glad to host the Category 6 meeting suggested in the draft decision in Stockholm in the spring of 2023, when the sun and warmth hopefully has returned to our northern latitudes. And we're also happy to chair the Intergovernmental Working Group to be held in Paris later that year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Sweden. Now I'm giving the floor to Republic of Korea. You have the floor, Excellency.
Thank you, Chair. The Republic of Korea firmly believes that the new reflection on the broader implementation of Article 18 of the 2003 Convention truly purports to achieve the mandate of the Convention, that is safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. For that reason, we strongly support this reflection initiated by the generous support from Sweden. For the success of this reflection, Republic of Korea is willing to actively participate in this project, sharing ideas and experiences of safeguarding ICH. We believe that we need to consider the vast diversity of circumstances of ICH safeguarding in different parts of the world, and we look forward to see the many good safeguarding practices shared, customized to different contexts of each society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Republic of Korea. Now I'm giving the floor to Germany, l'Allemagne.
Thank you very much, Chair. Germany wishes to express its gratitude to Sweden for supporting the reflection for a broader implementation of Article 18 of the Convention. We also thank the Secretariat for the valuable work it has done on this topic so far. We welcome that criterion P9 was deleted by the General Assembly earlier this year and encourage the envisioned dialogue and actions to be taken to further reflect on and adjust the other criteria. We also look forward to a better interconnectedness between the lists and the register, and to enrich the listing mechanisms with inspiring examples via transfer requests. Furthermore, we welcome all three topics proposed for reflection, which we want to reiterate here for time reasons. I would also like to invite the future participants of this meeting to reflect the possibility on how to raise visibility on good safeguarding practices that further promote the ethical principles decided at the session of committee in 2015, and particularly the specific attention to the UNESCO priority gender questions in the design and implementation of safeguarding measures. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur l'Ambassadeur, très cher Peter. Y a-t-il une autre demande de parole de la part des membres du comité avant que je n'ouvre que je donne la parole aux observateurs? Je ne vois pas d'autres demandes de prise de parole, donc la parole est aux observateurs. Est-ce qu'il y a une demande de prise de parole? Il y en a une là, je pense. Je vois la Belgique. Netherlands, ok. La Belgique a la parole, sera suivie des Pays-Bas. Merci.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. Belgium absolutely applauds this initiative. And it is true that the register has been underutilized, but also Article 18 has been underutilized. And a good example of the underutilization of the present system is the Sleeping Operational Directive number 4 that is there since 2008. And it reads, at each session, the committee may explicitly call for proposals characterized by international cooperation as mentioned in Article 19 of the Convention and or focusing on specific priority aspects of safeguarding. 14 years later, this operation directive has not been used by the committee yet, although it offers tools for the committee to steer, to inspire, and to influence. So we would definitely like to point at Operation Directive 4. And the way Article 18 is formulated offers much possibilities, as it does not mention explicitly the instrument of one register, but is an open invitation for the committee to periodically select and promote national, sub-regional, and regional programs, projects, and activities. So I hope that in topic 3, we can think beyond one register and beyond one observatory, but for instance, to include something to capture the lessons learned and interesting programs, projects, and activities spotted in the examination of the periodic reports, now inspired by the framework of the overall results framework. Also to utilize the possibilities of electronic platforms and find formulas to involve NGOs, UNESCO chairs, and other actors. So we would like to thank Sweden, and it might turn out to be that topic 3 is the best birthday gift after 20 years of this convention ever. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Belgium. Now I give the floor to Netherlands.
Thank you, Chair. Since it's the first time the Netherlands takes the floor, I would like to thank you for your chairpersonship. We thank the Kingdom of Morocco for their hospitality during this entire week. The Netherlands has always supported alternate and lighter ways to share good safeguarding practices for the lists, including the register. We thank the Kingdom of Sweden for organizing a separate reflection on Article 18 of the Convention. We would like to express our interest to participate in the upcoming reflection. The Netherlands supports the initial reflection topics. We hope this reflection will result in improved methods of promoting and disseminating good safeguarding practices, whether included in the register or not. We support further reduction of the criteria, with the goal to establish a lighter filtering and validation mechanism, in order to share as many good examples as possible. This reflection process is a chance to build towards a tool to showcase the breadth of information related to the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage. In the Netherlands, we see that communities are very eager to learn from international examples, especially when a community meets difficulties during safeguarding. At the same time, communities and sometimes NGOs perceive that information and tools on UNESCO websites are not aimed at them, and therefore they don't use them. We are looking forward to contribute to the development of a plan to establish an online platform as a global basis with regional rooms. This platform should be built around the needs of communities, and therefore we encourage the Secretariat to involve them and NGOs in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Netherlands. Is there any other request for the floor? I see none, so I'm giving the floor to Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and I'd first of all like to thank committee members for their encouraging comments and feedback. And also to the comments from the observers, which I also think are highly encouraging. There's a lot more discussion to have, but I think, yeah, making use of these online possibilities, which we've learned a lot about over the last 2 or 3 years, just through necessity. We've been forced to work online, but we've also learned that this allows us possibilities to create networks and connections which were more difficult before. So we very much think that this, whatever we want to call it, observatory, whatever it is, we understand it as going in that direction of creating a platform for exchange, an online mechanism. Concerning our website, you're right, some of our website, we try to have the news in a more approachable manner, but of course, statutory documents being statutory documents are not always completely accessible to communities in the language they use. So having said this, we'd like to thank those ideas. I'd like to reassure that the comments we heard, I think, are in line with what we want to propose for the reflection, and remind that this is indeed an exciting time to think a little bit outside the box and see how the convention can become a platform for more exchange and more sharing of good safeguarding practices and more exchange between people all around the world who are committed to safeguarding living heritage. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Tim. So let us move now to the decision. Please refer to document 10 and its draft decision in paragraph 11. Yes, it's already displayed on the screen. May I ask the committee to adopt draft decision 17.com/10 as shown on the screen as a whole, if you want, or if you prefer to adopt it paragraph by paragraph. Can we adopt it as a whole? Can you scroll it? Yes, please. Thank you. Yes, we have 7 paragraphs in the draft. Il n'y a pas d'objection, donc je considère que la décision 17.com.10 est adoptée. Merci beaucoup.